What's good, y'all? What's up with it? It's your girl Poppy.
And I'm Joanna, but you can call me Joe.
Hey y'all, I'm Ciera.
You are tuned in to Girl, Let Me Tell You. Girl, let me tell you. Let me tell you.
We started a podcast.
Y'all, I'm really so excited for this.
I know. I can't believe
excited.
this is actually happening.
Y'all, we here.
We're literally out here recording a podcast.
It's crazy to think about when I actually first reached out to y'all, we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then we had that FaceTime call for us to actually be here now is wild.
Mm-hmm. During the FaceTime call, I was just like, oh, this is really happening. Like, we're doing this for real. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to just keep going. But I wanted to start with a little check-in to see how you ladies are doing today. So I want y'all to share something good just so we can kind of celebrate each other and get this thing rolling. So talk to me, Poppy. Share something good with us. What's going on? What's tea?
What's tea? No, I'm playing. What's going on with me? I think something good for me. Actually, so I don't know if y'all know this, but I just had a surgery on my hand. Let me show y'all. Look at that. And the past couple of days was my first time in 3.5 weeks where I was able to just kind of be at home with Jeremiah by myself and take care of him and myself. So it was a really good moment to be like, I'm back, baby. I'm back. So that's a good moment for me for sure.
Awesome. Okay, Ciera, girl, you next. What's good?
Yeah. So this past weekend, I actually went to Dallas, Texas. And if you know me, you ain't even got to know me, but I'm just telling y'all, I love wilding out. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm with it. And so my cousin and I, she
wildin'.
all day, every day. Ringtone. But my cousin, she was so gracious enough to go with me. And y'all, it was just the most fun I've almost ever had. It was a blast from start to end. It was just great. And so that was my highlight, y'all.
Yes.
Okay.
I know that was fun because they be lit over there. Okay, I'm trying to drop in an episode.
Okay, but I got a question real quick. Nick Cannon, how do y'all feel about him? Babies.
That's between him and God. Oh my God.
Took a sip. Now she's sipping her tea.
Ooh.
Drink.
A little dry.
I'm about to play. He got a lot going on. I just had to ask.
We still love you though, Nick. We love you. It's all jokes. It's all love. But for me, something good. My birthday's coming up in a few weeks. And I'll be 22. I don't have no plans as of now, but I am just excited for the new year and, what God is going to do. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes. Come on, birthday.
Yeah. I'm so excited.
That is exciting. Okay, well, I have a couple of things I want to kind of talk about while we're here. The first thing I want to talk about, I just kind of have a question. So the Girl Let Me Tell You podcast was actually something that the Lord kind of put on my heart to start a while back. And it took me a long time to actually start it. And Ciera knows this because I kept talking about should I start a podcast? I think about starting a podcast. Should I start a podcast? And Ciera was like, girl, you've been talking about this for a while. You're either going to do it or you're not. And I randomly was like, if I started this podcast, Ciera, would you be on it with me? And I want to know, why did both of you say yes to joining the Girl Let Me Tell You podcast with your girl Poppy J?
Now she put us on the spot. I gotta answer the question. Okay, Ciera, you go first.
Okay. So the reason why I joined Girl Let Me Tell You podcast is, Poppy came to me and she my friend, she my sis. So I was like, I'm gonna hear her out. I'm gonna see what she got to say. She's creative, good heart, all of this. I'm gonna hear what she got to say. And so when she came to me, I was like, well, sure. Yeah, let's do it. Not knowing, what it was about, not really knowing anything about a podcast. But when she was like, "Yeah, I spoke to God, I prayed, He laid it on my heart," I was like, "Well, what's the harm in that?" So, of course, it was
Oh,
something that I was like, I can join that. So I don't know what it
oh.
is, but she's walking with the Lord. She's trusting the Lord. I'm a hold on to that one. So here I am, girl. Let me tell you.
Okay,
That's a good
okay,
friend
girl.
right there.
That is a good friend. Thank you. Thank you.
Love that.
Joe.
Okay, so this is what had happened. Let me give you the background story. You had FaceTimed me. I think you were at the store, like the college bookstore or something like that. And we were just talking, chatting, and you mentioned the podcast. And I was really excited for you because I'm like, this is something that for sure I can see you doing. But when you asked me, I'm always dramatic. Me? Of course. Like I was just so thankful to just be included. Like I gotta be in that. Like I wanted to be a part of that. And I just remember thinking like this is my sister and I have to support her. So I was down for sure. No doubt about it.
Oh,
So and now we here, period. Getting to it.
period. And now we're here. That was really nice.
Yes.
Like, I really do appreciate you guys so much more than I could probably ever put into words because, like, I don't know. I'm at this like weird time in my life where I have a child, I'm a single parent, and I'm trying to figure it all out. And so when the Lord was like, do a podcast, I was like, I can't do this by myself. Like, I already have too much going on, and I need like people that I can rely on. And I know that will have my back in situations like this and to really kind of be that creative outlet when my mind does not work anymore.
Hmm.
So I was like, it really took a lot for me to ask you guys. And so the fact that you guys were so like willing and ready to do it with me, just, it really means a lot. And I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry.
Go ahead, cry. Go ahead, cry.
Right, girl. Open space,
It's
safe
gonna be
space.
tears on here. Yeah, safe space, safe space. We don't judge. We don't judge.
Period.
Yeah.
When I told you guys that we were starting the podcast, what did you think? Like immediately, like what did you think this podcast was going to be about? Like when I was like, I'm starting a podcast, were you like, oh, we about to be talking about this? Or like, was there anything that just kind of popped up in your mind, like this girl's gonna have me talking about all this stuff? Like what was it? I just want to know because I
Hmm.
know what I was thinking, and it was really hard for me to like verbalize it with you guys to make my ideas like make sense. But I want to know what you guys were thinking.
Well, I remember when you told me the name that you had, girl, let me tell you. I was like, yes, absolutely. Here for that. Because when I think of girl, let me tell you, it takes me back to all the like girl chats that I've had, all the FaceTimes, like, and I think like all women need that those people that they can talk to, girl, let me tell you about this. Girl, he said this,
Mm-hmm.
she said that, and
Mm-hmm.
automatically it just feels safe. So I was just excited, and I think the podcast alone it made me excited for you and to go on that journey with you. But I think the name is what kind of took it to the next level for me.
Yeah, it was definitely the same for me. Like, girl, let me tell you, oh, we got something to say. Like, something about to happen. What? And so that's what it was for me, honestly, like almost identical. I was like, oh, we about to talk. Let's go.
Big period. Big period. Oh, this is great.
Mhm.
I'm excited because like I don't know. I think it's interesting when you have like an idea or a thought that you want to do something and then to actually see it come to
Hmm.
pass, it just like
Mhm.
hits so differently. So like has there been a time besides the podcast in your life where either the Lord has put something on your heart to do or just something that you have wanted to do and like how did you start that? How did you commit to it and get to the finish line?
Such a good question. I'll go first. Girl, I'll be talking. I'll be ready. Already.
I ain't mad. That's why
Um,
we here, girl. Let me tell you.
Right. Let's go.
I think for me, school has always been a big thing for me. Y'all know I'm a college student. Like I feel like school is the only thing I've done my entire life. And it was always really important for me growing up to have a good education. So I went to UNT, Going Green, graduated this past May, and that alone was like such a huge accomplishment for me, being first generation, first person in my family to have
Mm.
that college experience. It was so rough, but it was so much fun and so rewarding at the same time. So I just remember thinking, I know education is important, but there's always something to strive for. I've always believed that there's room for improvement. So I figured, why not try and go to grad school? So fast forward to, when was this? Like this past October, I started my grad school application. It probably took me like 3 months to complete it because I was just so worried. I was overcomplicating things, overthinking as usual. But this is something I really felt peace about. I feel like God had really put it on my heart to take it a step further in my career. So I applied, I got accepted. I was going to UNT this fall, doing educational psychology. So just to think back to high school and being so worried about, what my future would be like, and just seeing where I am now, I'm really proud of myself. I just have to give myself a little pat on the back because
I give you
Absolutely.
college is
clap.
hard. Thank
Yes.
Girl,
you.
who are you
College is really,
telling?
really hard. And y'all already know about that college life, okay? Like y'all already know. I know y'all can relate. It's really, really hard, but I'm so blessed, honestly. And I'm really glad that I didn't let anyone talk me out of it. Because people think about school and they think money, like where are you gonna get that from? And I'm like, I don't have to worry about that because God's got it taken care of. So we good over here.
100%.
We love that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I know for me,
Go on, cry. What y'all tell
started.
me?
Yeah,
Go
go
on,
ahead, go ahead.
cry.
But yeah, so my story was like currently like what I guess not my situation, but just like what I'm going through now with my career. So in college, I was a nursing major, then I switched to a business management major, and that's what I got my degree in. But I had no career path for that. And then one day my dad came to me and was like, nursing home administrator. And I don't even know what it was, but it was just like, that's it. And so I was like, well, right, that's it. But I didn't know like where to start, what to do, like what are the requirements. And it was just like God literally laid everything out so perfectly. I mean, like timing to the day. That was when we we actually went to Washington for Centennial, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna miss it because class is about to start." And like our classes for the administration, it started like the week after, and I was like, "Thanks, God!" Like He let me go to Washington. But after that, I went through my classes, and then I passed the state exam, and then I did my internship, and then after that was just like straight studying. And then I was nervous. Everyone was like, "The exam is so hard. People barely pass. Like your life has to be
Right.
dedicated to it." And if you know my college background, what's studying? Like, what is that? Who does that? So it was a it was a new area for me to like study. But God provided. I mean, the nervous wreck. I mean, y'all, it was a lot. But I mean, I took the test and first try for the national exam, God did his thing. And we came out passing both exams. And so here I am, just like still trusting God. I mean, the enemy, he's been trying to pound me, like, don't do it, don't do it. So I know that like I'm on the right track. And so I'm just like, God, I trust you. You know who I am. You know my heart. You know everything. Like the attributes that you've given me is not a surprise. And so I know that you will take me through. And so that's what I'm riding on, just trusting in God.
See, I ain't
I
mad at
love
that.
that.
I am not mad at it,
Mhm.
girl. I think, see, y'all stories were so beautiful and just like perseverance, and I just did it. Woo! And I'm over here thinking about my little story I'm about to tell. It takes a lot. And when I say a lot, it takes a lot for me to step into what God calls me to do. And I don't know why I'm like this. Maybe it's because I'm an overthinker. Maybe it's because I'm just like, sometimes I'm just unsure of myself and the capabilities and things that I have. And so, like, I think God sends people that I don't know, people that I've never met before, people that I do know, to
Mhm.
give me those affirmations to keep going. And so for me, I think one of the biggest things that I started on my own was probably my YouTube channel. And literally since I was in high school, people had told me, you should have a YouTube channel. You should start a YouTube channel. Why don't you have a YouTube channel? And I was like, whatever, whatever. Like, no, I ain't gonna do that. I can't do that. I got to college and I went to college like 6 hours away from home, out of state, went where literally not one person in the world knew me. And it was tough. And there was days where I was like, dang, like, where is my sisterhood? Where's the people that I can relate to? And the Lord kept telling me, start a YouTube channel. Like, do your channel, make your videos. And I was just like, but that's not me. Like, I don't know why I always fight those things, but I do. And when I got to this university where literally not a soul knew me, everybody that I met was like, start a YouTube channel. And I was like, these people don't even know me. Like, how they telling me what I need to do and they don't even know who I am. Like, I just met these people. And so when I finally started it, the way that this YouTube channel had reached so many people, like, and touched them is just insurmountable. Like, throughout my time in college, I would literally go to different cities in another state, and people would be like, I watch your YouTube channel, you're Poppy. And I'd be like,
wow.
You know me? Like, you know
me?
Right.
And even like to this day, at my job, we had just hired this new guy. And I introduced myself to him, first day. I'm like, hey, my name is Poppy. Nice to meet you. Woo, woo, woo. He's like, this is my name. And then the next week, I see him and he's like, hey, you're Poppy. And I was like, I am. And he was like, you helped me get this job. And I was like, and everybody in the office was looking around like, how you help him get this job? You knew him? I was like, I don't know who this man is. Sorry to this man. I don't know who he is.
Right.
And he was like, no. He's like, no, she helped me get this job. And I was like, can you explain further how? And tell me why this man, when I tell y'all, first time meeting him, never seen him before in my life, told me that he watched my YouTube channel and saw a video of how I was talking about getting my job at Baylor and what my interview process was like. He was like, I watched that video and it helped me through the interview process and I got this job. He was like, so thank you.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And so it's just
That
like
is so
little
cool.
things like that just like, you can't tell me that God is not working and not wanting you to fulfill the things that he calls you to do. Because if you don't do what he calls you to do, there's people out there that can't fulfill their destiny because you're not walking in yours. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah.
And so that's just something that like is forever going to be a quote that I live by.
Yeah. I love that. Ciera, you said earlier, I take notes, y'all. I got to write things down when they just real good, when she be preaching. Ciera said God laid everything out perfectly. And I feel like that's just in his nature. Like that's his character. That's who he is. And I think kind of like what you were saying, Poppy, it's so important to walk in your purpose and to be with God and understand who he is so you can understand who you are. And I feel like it's so easy to get distracted by like outside voices and like people trying to put their little 2 cents in. But I think it's important, like if you know who you are in Christ, then that's all that matters, So yeah.
All right, y'all. So because we've talked about seeing things through, we're now going to segue into like why this podcast was started. So Poppy girl, tell me, what is the ultimate reason, the ultimate vision, purpose on why you started the podcast?
So I think honestly, the ultimate vision was just creating a space for women to come together and kind of find their sisterhood. Like for me, I grew up like an only child. My closest sister is like 15 and 17 years older than me. So basically like an only child. When I got to college, I definitely was looking for that sisterhood, looking for my girls that I could chat with, that could relate to me, but could also challenge me to grow and see different perspectives. And then I was able to kind of find that while I was there. But once I got into the real world, moved to a whole nother city, didn't know nobody, became a mom. And it was like, whoop, back in the same boat. And so honestly, this podcast is just kind of let me and you guys too be that space for another woman that's in the world doing the same thing I'm doing. Like, where's my girls? Where's my sisterhood? Where can I grow? Where can I find that accountability to kind of make sure that I'm doing what I need to do, but also to support somebody else. So that's really ultimately the goal and vision.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like a space like this with 3 women like us is so necessary. And I like the fact that it is 3 of us. So why 3? I feel like, there's someone out there is going to be able to relate to each of us individually. So why do you think it's important that we have 3 people? What do you guys think you bring to this podcast?
I like them. Ciera, do you want to go?
It's all you, sis.
So, honestly, it was just a prayer between me and God because, like I told y'all earlier, I knew I couldn't do this by myself. And Ciera is someone that I talk to a lot. Like me and her, I would definitely call her like a sister. Okay. And the Lord was like, Ciera can do the podcast with you. And I was like, what? I ain't got to do this by myself. And so I was talking to Ciera about it. And then I was like, well, I feel like me and Ciera have 2 different, lifestyles, perspectives, views. I was like, but I feel like there's something missing. Like there should be more of us. And so I asked Ciera, like, hey, do you know anybody you want to, join the podcast? We can add like 2 more girls. It could be like a group of 4. And then the Lord was like, 4. And I was like, 4.
Not giving.
And I was like, well, maybe not 4. Maybe not 4. And so I just honestly just kept praying about it. And the girls that I originally was going to ask, he kept telling me, not that one. No, not that one. And what's funny is really quickly too, right after I was like, I'm not going to ask this girl, 2 days later, she popped up on social media starting her own project. And I was like, oh, I see you.
Wow.
I see you.
Yeah.
And he was like, he just kind of put you on my mind, Joanna. And, and so basically, that's literally what it was. I can't make this up. Like he was like, Ciera, Joanna. And my vision for it was Joanna is like young, in college, super involved on campus, has a lot on her plate. Like she's starting in her journey with Christ. So she's in that kind of new growing into a young woman phase of life. And so I feel like she could really bring a lot of new listeners here that are wanting to kind of have that big sister role in their lives. And then Ciera is like a big sister to me. So like I'm sorry, don't cry, don't make me. And so I felt like she would be able to kind of bring people in who have grown up in the church, lived in the church. She has a really, really long-standing relationship with Christ that I admire. And she does kind of have that kind of like that wisdom, big sister vibe. So I feel like she could bring in a really great audience of people who are older and a little bit more wiser in life and kind of can listen to the young girls and be like, that makes sense, but, and then like I am just kind of like a young mom. I like to have fun. I'm just like really ambitious, out there, go getter. But I also have a lot on my plate. So I feel like I could bring on the same kind of audience that is like go getters, got a lot on their plate, but they do want to chill and kind of have that sisterhood, but also kind of grow in aspects of motherhood, life, and just kind of have that growth mindset. So that's what my vision was. That's why I asked you to come on here. And the Lord kind of okayed everything for me. And baby, we here. Girl, let me tell you. But what do you guys feel or bring to the podcast? And did I hit you with like a nail on the
head?
Yeah, there you go, girl. Nail on the head.
I got you, girl.
I was like, hammer on the head, nail on the. Y'all know what I'm trying to
say. Not a hammer on the head. That's too rough. Too rough. Not the hammer on the head. Okay.
Let's go high.
I'm dead. What do y'all think?
Ciera, what do you think? What do you bring to this Girl, Let Me Tell You podcast?
So mine is just like, is it in conjunction with what Poppy said. And so I'm a very like soft and gentle person. Like she said, I am. I mean, she used that word old a little bit too much, y'all. Don't be playing with me. But I am up there. I'm a little up there. But you know what? That's all good. And so
it's all out of love. All out of love, sis.
All love, you know. And so my big thing is just like bringing sisterhood, being comfortable, knowing who you are, things like that. Just like a really safe space where you're talking to your homegirl. You know, we all just chit-chatting up in here. And so that's just what I hope to bring. Just like openness and just like love and safe space and things like that. And with Poppy and the vision that, you know, like she told us things like that, I was like, yeah, I could mesh with that. Just
Mhm.
bring myself. And so I hope myself really just shines through. And people just feel welcome and open.
Shining, shining,
Yay,
shining,
shining,
shining.
shining.
Yeah. Girl, you shining. For
Okay, period.
sure. Yes. I think for me, a big thing for me is relatability. And I'm always trying to show people who I am, like the real me, and just be as authentic as possible. So I think that's what I'm hoping to bring. And I'm hoping that someone out there can relate to that. Because I think it's important, like when you're communicating with people who are so different, to bridge the gap. Because I've been in like friendships and relationships before where people make me feel like I stand out a little bit too much. But I want people to know like there is someone that you can relate to that goes through the same things as you.
Mhm.
Even though we may be different, we have things in common. So I think that that's what Girl, Let Me Tell You is giving me. And I hope to, give that back in return. So.
Big
I love that.
period.
I love that.
Okay.
All caps. I love it.
All
I love this. I love you guys. I'm excited for this. It's about
Me
time to wrap
too.
it up, honestly, though.
Yes.
So, oh my gosh, I'm just so
Y'all.
Yeah.
excited. I think, oh my gosh, I don't even know what I think anymore. Y'all have no words.
We just
I'm
Yeah.
so
This
proud of
this
you
was a lot
guys.
of fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
proud of you. I'm so thankful to know you. I'm so thankful that you're here. This is for both Joanna and Ciera.
Mhm.
But I mean, y'all, this is pretty much the end of our first pilot episode.
Yes.
How are y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good? Y'all feeling great?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
All
I love
right.
Ciera. She is just so calm always. I feel like we're always up here. She's like, guys, let's bring it down.
Literally.
Really trying to contain it, y'all.
Yeah.
The girl is shaking in her boots.
Woo! Well, I just want to say thank you guys for joining this podcast with me. Thank you for chatting with me today. For all the listeners, we appreciate you so much more than you know.
Yes, y'all. And you know this conversation is not over. It does not stop here. We are here bi-weekly on Fridays at noon.
Yeah, so you can tune in with us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube at Girl, Let Me Tell You podcast. So thank y'all again, and we'll see you next time on Girl.